I want to share part 2 of my Charlotte Tilbury quad ranking video with you guys. I have the middle tier for this particular video. YouTube will not let me upload it all at once since I'm recording it from my phone, so I had to break it up into pieces. This is the middle tier, and we're going to go from the not as great to the okay. So we're going to start with number 9. This is on the lowest spot of the middle tier. This is the Dreamgasm palette. Here is the color story. Now this particular palette is the first time where it wasn't exactly advertised, but it did say in the print, if you read it, that 3 of the shades in this palette came from other palettes. So if I recall correctly, this is from the Dolce Vita, which is now called the Bella Sophia. This is from Transformer Eyes. This one here is from the Pillow Talk palette, and this smoke shade is the only new one in this particular quad at the time. So this color story is just very boring. There's nothing wrong with the quality or being able to make an eye look. It is overall more medium, but you can still get definition with the smoke shade. However, it's nothing new when 3 of the shades were from other palettes. So that is in spot 9, the lowest of the mid-tier. In spot 8, we have the Uptown Girl. This one is in the middle, but a little lower due to the color story. You have these pinks here, and then these grays. I feel like the Rock Chick palette, if you have brown skin, does a much better job of giving you that silvery gray look than this particular palette, so it is toward the bottom. That was 8. In spot 7, we have the Desert Haze palette. This particular color story is all matte. Took me a while to pick this one up because it is all matte. I'm more of a fan of shimmer, as you can tell by the eye look I have on now from the Fire Rose. But this particular palette, because of how well these mattes work, how smooth they are and pigmented, you can make a muddy, smoky eye look with this, but muddy in a good way. I would use this dark brown as the main color and then smoke it out and blend with these and use this lighter shade here as a base for all the other colors. In spot 6, we have the Rebel palette. This is the original Rebel palette. It has since been remarketed with more of a khaki color scheme and gold. Here you see you have these greens, more of a cooler toned look you would get with this. Of course, you have the obligatory champagne color. So this definitely shows up on brown skin, but for me, I'm not a super fan of green, especially these kind of greens. I prefer a more khaki jade green. So that one is in the middle, but toward the bottom. Next, we have the Golden Goddess palette. Here's the color story. This one is actually not that gold if you think of gold as it is nowadays. So Charlotte definitely has a bunch of other palettes that give you that gold look much better than this one. But this, I feel, is a cool toned gold, if such a thing exists. You have this nice beigey shade, you have this taupe, and you have this brown to blend out, and you have this particular gold, but it does not read super yellow, it does not read super orange. It's more of like a brownie gold, a taupe gold, if such a thing exists. So there's that palette. Really nice neutral palette in spot 5. In spot 4, we have the Rock Chick palette. If you like smoky eye with a black liner, this one's for you. Have all these grays in here to play with. I feel like if you're brown skin, this gives you a much better silvery gray look than the Uptown Girl. You have this matte gray to work with as well. It's a really nice silvery pop shade. Really nice palette. That was in spot 4. In spot 3, we have the Dolce Vita. It has been renamed to the Bella Sophia. This one Here's the color story. This is a classic in Charlotte Tilbury's line. A classic neutral palette. This one's in the mid-tier for me simply because this brown is very similar to my skin tone when I blend it out on the eyes. So I still get more of a medium toned neutral look with this palette when I use it. I don't get much smokiness unless I use a really dark liner with it. So that's why this is in the middle. But I really do love this rich gold pop shade. This tone of gold is my favorite. That was spot number 3. In spot number 2, we have the Vintage Vamp. To me, this palette gives me similar vibes as the Dolce Vita, but more of a plum tone. Here's the palette. You got your pinky champagne base color, these 2 plums to blend out and make a look with. And then this pop shade is not as gold as the Dolce Vita, but it's just a little bit gold. So this one, because of the plum undertones, I have it a bit higher than the Dolce Vita. Now in spot number 1, in the middle tier, we have the palette of Pops and Starlight. Here's the packaging, shimmery, it's different than the others. And the palette itself also has shimmers in it. This one is in Starlight. This one, all of the celestial shimmers. You have this nice white silver, this gunmetal silver, and 2 khaki shimmers. This particular palette is in the middle tier. Compared to the Supersonic Girl, you can actually get some variation here. You have a really light one, you have this darker one, this darker one. Here's a mid shade. So if you want to use these all together on your eye, you could actually get some definition. And I like these colors better than those oranges and reds. So that one is very pretty. So that is palettes 9 to 1, from the kind of okay to the actually good in the middle tier. I will post another video of the top tier, which will be the top 10 quads that I have that I like from Charlotte Tilbury. Hopefully I have them all, because I'm trying to collect them all. So thanks for watching the middle tier.